Lee Jones here from Hotspawn, and I'm joined by Dylan Falco ahead of the LEC Summer Finals in Madrid. And maybe just before we touch on the finals themselves, I kind of just wanted to look back a little bit at the season so far for you guys, because I guess for pretty much every other team in the league to have got to three finals and made worlds already, it wouldn't exactly be a bad season. So just how do you kind of reflect on it? And I guess mainly the fact that there hasn't been a title yet for G2, which is so rare.
Yeah, I think also the fact that we won through winners bracket to the finals all three times really proves that we can beat every single team in the EU. Like we have the skill to be able to win those best of fives and win a championship. So it feels a bit bad for sure. Um, I think that I'm happy with our year so far. I think we kind of rebuilt our roster, and I think we've shown some very good play in Europe. I think our MSI was a huge disappointment, but when I look at how much we have changed since MSI of how we play, how we approach the game, how we approach draft, um, I feel like if it makes our summer split in Worlds a success, it's very worth it. So I feel like we've been able to showcase our skill to an extent, but at the end of the day, in League of Legends, like World Championship, Summer Split, that's what the people really, really care about. So
Absolutely.
we'll see how it ends.
Yeah. So you feel like you guys are on the right track now then,
Yeah, I absolutely do.
for sure. And I was seeing an interview Broken Blade did, I think it was maybe a week or two ago, with Sheep Esports, and he said about, I think he was asked kind of how he sees G2 in relation to the rest of the league at the moment, and he said that it looked like most of the other teams were crumbling basically, and almost on a downswing at the same time that you guys are picking back up in form. Um, do you share that sentiment? Do you think the other teams are starting to struggle a little bit, and is that maybe just good bit of luck for you guys as well, the timing of it?
So I think in the end of Summer Split, when the stakes are very high, when there's World Championship spots on the line, you're scrimming these teams every day, right? And it's very common that like one or two top teams just has some really bad days and the mental gets shot a bit and they start losing a lot. That doesn't mean that they don't pick it back up when it comes to it, like when it really matters. And it also doesn't mean that they will play that poorly on the stage, as well. But it's just stressful, right? When we're playing a game of the mind. So yeah, the Summer Split playoff mental boom is pretty well documented.
Hmm.
But we've been playing all of the teams coming into finals weekend, and teams are looking pretty good. It doesn't seem as dramatic as it maybe was like a few weeks ago, I would say.
Yeah, I was going to ask actually, because also just where you guys have had, or by the time you play on Sunday, would have had like a 2 week break basically,
Yeah.
while the other teams are kind of slowly fighting through the rest of the bracket as well. I was wondering that had it been difficult at all to even like find people to scrim? Because I guess most teams would have stopped playing. So it's like, have you just been scrimming the few teams that are left?
Yeah, so we not only need to prioritize this practice for the summer finals, but to be honest, because Worlds is so close, this is also our practice for the World Championship.
Hmm.
So um, we couldn't just not scrim any of the teams and try and YOLO the finals. I don't even think that would be great for the finals, but it for sure would be even worse for our preparation for Worlds. We do have the benefit of that there's three teams still in that
Hmm.
you really only have like a 33 like well, depends on how you weight the odds of the double series, but like there's only one of those three teams you will play. So at least two teams of the practice will not be seen by the other teams. That's a lot nicer than some of the formats where there's two teams. So we've just been scrimming a mix of all three teams. Haven't really been drafting super seriously against them in the scrims and just trying to be mechanically strong for this weekend.
Yeah. What's your feeling about which one of those is likely to be the one you're facing?
Oh, I have absolutely no idea. I feel like these teams are very closely matched.
Hmm.
Some days we play one of them in scrims and we just stomp them and then we're like, oh, there's no way. And then we'll play them again a few days later and they're, oh, actually, it looked pretty good today. So it's really changing. And I think all of these teams have basically beat each other throughout the year. Um, I would say Koi has been steadily the best in the last couple splits, and maybe they played good in Madrid last time, but honestly, I have no idea who it will
Yeah.
play.
What do you think on the prospect of facing Koi? Because like I know at the road show in spring, like G2 had a decent amount of fans there, but like clearly Koi were the home favourites. And
Yeah.
I imagine that's going to be the case this time as well. So does that like change maybe how you'd approach it if it ends up being Koi?
No, you're just focused on good drafts and good gameplay mostly, right? it's just when they get a kill, it will be very, very loud. If it's Koi for sure. Um, I think it's great for them. It must be amazing to play in front of a home crowd full of people cheering for you. Like,
Hmm.
it's going to be exciting for sure.
Yeah.
But hope we can make it a quiet arena if we end up playing there.
Just how have you found that whole format? I know like the main controversy really, especially in the recent weeks, has just been like these constant breaks and teams having like 1 or 2 week breaks.
Yeah.
How have you found that? Because I spoke to Grabs earlier, and yeah, he I think like most people hasn't been a big fan. But then, has there ever been a point where it's at least like maybe gives you extra time to prep or anything like that, or is it just yeah, are you just not a huge fan of having to wait all this time?
Yeah, I think it's definitely like I'm sure even Riot themselves would not be super happy with how the summer split schedule ended up working out. I know there's logistical reasons to why
Hmm.
it is that way. I think the weirdest for me is just spring was so long for so many games that didn't really ended up meaning that much as we just went straight into playoffs. We just played so many best of threes. Um, just to only like go into playoffs for one series or 1 or 2 series for MSI, and then summer is kind of like the opposite where the regular season's just so short, and then we go into that. So yeah, the splits were just I just think way out of balance of how many games we played in each, and it had that a lot of that had to do with the scheduling and logistics of it. I'm hope they will cook something up that's a little bit better next year, but it's definitely difficult.
Hmm.
I have some differing thoughts on it. I think they should just do whatever is going to be best for the viewership and health of the league. I don't actually care if we're playing best of ones or best of threes or best of fives and how many teams are playing. I think I think just like the steady game days with a lot of teams playing is probably the best for viewership. But that's not my thing. I'm just a
Hmm.
coach. But yeah,
What do you think would kind of help you guys the most competitively? Because like one thing I hear about it a lot is also kind of comparing it over to the Asian teams, and they're playing like constantly, just so many more matches. Yeah, what do you think would actually be better for G2 performance wise?
like more stage games is better, but I think if it's difference between 20 stage games and 10 stage games in a split, that is not going to make the difference of whether we win against China at the World Championships or not. I just think that's an overblown thing, and I think
Hmm.
they should do what's best for the health of the league.
Fair enough, makes sense. Just looking ahead, like at Worlds as well, and I guess like from G2, like G2 as an org, it's been said like so many like for all these years that the goal eventually is they want to win a world championship. Um, when you come into Worlds a year like this year especially, I feel like Gen G are just like so much more dominant than what we see like many of the years coming into Worlds. Like one team have been so dominant throughout the year, not even just this year, like over the last couple of years. Um, kind of how do you take the approach going into Worlds, kind of with this ultimate goal there still, while like especially teams like Gen G or just the Korean teams in general
Yeah.
are just continue to be so strong.
I think winning the World Championships is surely very difficult. Obviously, it's
I can
been
imagine.
Korea just winning a lot. The Chinese teams won a bit with some Korean players, but even it's been Korean dominance for a while. I think the difference between barely making it out of Swiss and a deep Worlds run is like it can be a very fragile difference. Although I think we've cut it a bit short the last couple of years. I think that the skill level of like the third best team, or the third best Chinese team, or fourth best Korean team, and the top European team has been like it's in the same ballpark. And I think things
Hmm.
really have not gone that well for us at the last few World Championships. But I really feel that with some good days, some good performance, and maybe a bit of luck, like it's absolutely possible to make a deep run at this tournament. And we don't treat that as like a stretch goal. We treat that as something that's very realistic and within our grasp.
Well, I think that's all about we've got time for Dylan. So yeah, thanks very much for chatting, and good luck on Sunday.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.